Boop. Let's go. All right. So, today we are here with the interrogation of Stephanie Lazarus. I don't know anything about this case. I don't know shit. All right? But I am in love with this channel. Criminal Psychology. I'm in love with this channel, bro. This man posts WVids. So, I just really want to get into it. And we can just chop it up, bro. Just chop it up. Are we really going to watch a 1 hour video? Yes.
On the evening of February 24th, 1986, 29-year-old nurse Sherry Rasmussen was found by her husband lying dead on the living room floor. Her face was severely beaten and disfigured to the point that she was unrecognizable, and the injuries were consistent with being hit with a muzzle and butt plate of a gun. She also had 3 gunshot wounds to the chest that were disclosed as the official cause of death, with the medical examiner asserting that any one of the 3 bullets could have killed her. Perhaps the most disturbing discovery during the autopsy was that most of Sherry's injuries were inflicted upon her after she was killed, which was concluded due to the lack of hemorrhaging and inflammation of the injuries. This included most of the victim's facial injuries and even a bite mark on her left forearm. Even after Sherry had taken her last breath, the assailant was still inflicting an inconceivable amount of damage to her body. She was buried in a closed casket 7 days later. The homicide detectives assigned to the case immediately associated Sherry's murder with multiple break-ins that had occurred that same night on the same street. Another woman had even been assaulted and was able to give a description of 2 assailants, and this description became the sole focus of the investigation into Sherry's murder. The prime suspects were now 2 middle-aged Latino males of medium height and build. They were never found, and the case went unsolved for 23 years. By 2009, crime in Los Angeles had declined enough from its earlier levels that detectives began looking into cold cases to increase their clearance rates, which is when the Rasmussen files resurfaced. It stood out from the rest as new methods of genetic analysis discovered that the DNA found at the crime scene pointed to a single female suspect. The 2 previous male suspects were then invalidated, along with the original theory of a burglary gone wrong. The investigation into Sherry Rasmussen's murder was then reopened, and the newly appointed criminal investigators started from scratch. It was soon discovered that a statement given by Sherry's father, of whom he thought to be the prime suspect, was quickly brushed to one side, as the person in question was a serving LAPD cop from the exact department who were investigating the case. The person in question was a woman by the name of Stephanie Lazarus. She was a 25-year-old police officer at the time who had been with the force for 2 years. She had dated Sherry's husband, John Rutten, in an on and off relationship throughout college and for a short time after. It was even discovered that John had slept with Lazarus after he became engaged, and the 2 even dated for a while after Sherry's murder. She was now a 25-year veteran of the police force and had worked her way up to a senior detective of the Commercial Crimes Division. She was essentially in charge of all art-related investigations in the city of Los Angeles. The investigators went with a gut feeling and decided to make Lazarus the prime suspect, with the collection of her DNA being the very first task. Attaining it through a warrant would have let Lazarus know she was under investigation, so it had to be discreetly collected instead. Within 24 hours of becoming the prime suspect, a coffee cup she discarded while off duty was received by police. A DNA sample was then taken, and it came up as an exact match to the DNA found on Sherry Rasmussen's bite mark.
Oh my God.
There's a stigma around police interrogation tactics being secretive, and how knowing this information can somehow help the guilty in deceiving their way to freedom. Yet these tactics have been public knowledge since their inception in the 1940s, and the following interrogation is a legitimate testimony into how watching an interrogation is a world apart from being subjected to one. You can know every technique in the book and each specific strategy and subtle scenario that goes along with it, but ultimately, you have no idea how you're going to react to a specific situation until you're actually in it. With that being said, knowing these tactics can still give an individual some form of advantage with regards to awareness. The investigators knew that their initial confrontation with Lazarus could in no way resemble a traditional interrogation, nor be officially classified as one, and there were 2 reasons for this. The first was that Stephanie would be wise to the fact that her best option would be to request legal counsel right away.
Look at her face, bro. She looks insane. Like, I don't want to judge nobody, but God. I heard a thing that if your retina is closer to the bottom of their eye, that means they're a psychopath. Bundy had it.
the procedure
I don't know,
immediately.
but none
The second
about
was
that.
that
I don't know.
Stephanie was not about to be read her Miranda
Ugh.
rights before being asked questions related to the investigation. A defense team could easily make anything she divulges inadmissible in court. Yet this was classed as a simple discussion between two parties, and the footage that was captured on a hidden camera was able to be submitted as evidence under
happens after they
surveillance
complete
footage
the
rather
act.
than interrogation footage. The detectives created a
I don't
ruse,
know, bro.
inviting Stephanie to come in and advise them on a case involving stolen art. Knowing they were dealing with one of their own, they rehearsed and prepared for the interview more than anything they had done before. Their plan of attack
bet.
was to keep the conversation as casual as possible for as long as possible, and carefully waited for the key moments to initiate the confrontation.
Stephanie, I don't know if you know my partner.
Hey,
Right.
Hi.
Stearns, nice to
Yeah,
meet
see
you.
you guys.
How's it going?
Good.
Milling around. Well, I'm saying,
Ooh, this is interesting.
I don't want to talk about this in the squadron
That's
because
okay.
I don't know who people are listening.
That's true,
And if
that's
we go to my side, everybody's
Yeah.
always wondering what everybody
Oh,
else
yeah,
is
sure,
doing.
no problem.
Okay.
The first thing the detectives do is set up a compatible tone with the suspect. She has just stepped foot inside an interrogation room, and the detectives negate the negative implications of such an environment through a friendly disposition. Consultative
Yeah.
meetings, such as seeking advice over an art theft, can take place anywhere, and the last place detectives would choose to spend more time in would be an interrogation room.
Interrogation
The
room,
reason they
yeah.
give the suspect for meeting in such an unusual location is to not spread rumors or innuendo. Yet the real reason is that all firearms have to be checked in before entering the area, and they needed the suspect to give up her gun without alerting suspicion.
Big brain
But,
moves.
as we're talking about being busy and stuff, we've been assigned a case that we've been looking at.
Okay.
It's a new case, and reviewing the case, there's some notes to see as far as your name being mentioned.
Okay.
Do you know John Rutan?
Try and imagine for one moment that you savagely murdered a love rival in a jealous rage. Over 2 decades had passed since the act. Then all of a sudden, you're brought to an interrogation room and sat
And hear
directly
the
opposite
name.
2 senior investigators who bring up the name of the man you committed first-degree homicide for.
John Rutten?
Rutan.
The investigators already knew how to say John Rutten's name correctly. The mispronunciation was a simple strategy to see how the suspect would react. Setting aside the element of the murder, John Rutten was the second longest relationship in Stephanie's life, and a psychiatrist later stated that this pause was 4 times as long as it should have been. She was already being deceptive by acting as if she hadn't thought about that name for so long, giving reason for her prolonged reflection, when in reality, the name John Rutten was engraved in her memory, and even when slightly mispronounced, it would have most likely taken milliseconds for her to realize exactly who the detectives were referring to.
Her pupils
Yeah, I
are
went to school with
huge.
You did?
Yeah.
How long did you know him?
Gosh, I went to school in, let's see, went to UCLA in 1978 I started, and, met him at school at the dorms.
Mm-hmm.
She says she met him in the dorms, yet left out the fact that they had dated for 4 years and went on numerous holidays together. Even though she wasn't asked directly, a truthful subject would most often volunteer this information without having to be pressed for it.
Were you guys friends, close friends?
Yeah, we're very close friends.
Yeah?
I mean, what's this all about?
Well, it's regarding, it's a case we're working on. It involves John, and in there, some of the statements we reviewed, there's notes and stuff that he knew you and stuff.
Oh, yeah, I mean, we good friends, lived in the dorms for, I lived in the dorms for 2 years.
You guys lived in the same dorm?
Yeah.
Or- oh, okay.
Yeah, Dykstra.
Okay. Were you guys just friends or anything else, or?
Yeah, we were good friends.
Yeah. Was there ever any relationship or anything that developed between you guys?
Yeah, I mean, we dated,
Uh-huh.
I mean, what's this all about?
Well, it's relating to
She's giving off
his
real
wife.
It's
nervous
unfortunate
energy.
that Stephanie's face wasn't captured at this moment, because she would have no doubt been immediately struck by the psychological reaction known as fight or flight. Her brain would have just triggered the influx of a specific cocktail of hormones in order to prepare her to either stay and deal with the threat or try and run away to safety. Stephanie chooses to fight.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Okay. Did you know her?
Not really. I mean, I knew that he got married years ago.
She's so
Did you ever
different.
meet her?
God, I don't know.
Do you know who she was or anything?
Well, let me think. God, it's been a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
I may have met her. Geez.
The words gosh, God, gee are exclamatory remarks used to express surprise or strong emotion. You will see them used continuously throughout this interrogation, which is the suspect trying to insinuate a vague memory due to a lack of contemplation on the subject matter. She's trying to emit the impression that she would have had no reason to give any further thought to John, or anything related to John, since they stopped seeing each other over 2 decades ago.
You know.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Well, let me ask you. You said you dated John. How long did you guys date?
I mean, are you guys, is this something?
As we know, Stephanie is a cop and has been for 25 years. She will be wise to the fact that acting
She's definitely
oblivious to
caught
the
on.
unusual development of the situation will be a glaring red flag in the eyes of the investigators. It's been shown time and again on this channel. Guilty suspects will often try and act naive to a blatant confrontation as a means to avoiding it altogether, whereas truthful subjects will address the confrontation and either refute it, or if it's subtle, want immediate clarification and transparency as to what was being insinuated.
I mean, you said I was going to interview somebody about art and how
Well,
you guys are.
Here's
I mean,
Stephanie. Here's the situation. It's basically
She breathing heavy as shit for
we
real.
knew that this when we saw this in this chrono that maybe there was some relationship there. That's what the chrono seemed to indicate.
The detective now subtly avoids the question altogether,
Yo,
but
she
instead
breathing
offers a
heavy,
deceptively
bruh.
reassuring response to the suspect. He makes a very sharp switch from the investigative subject matter to the previous topic of workplace rumors. He brings her focus back to the false perception of them being on her side. Stephanie had just asked what was going on, and now he essentially replies with, "We are your friends. We're doing you a favor."
And we didn't want to come up to you at your desk and ask those kinds of questions or do anything. You know how up there people can see what's going on if you go into an interview room or people are in there getting
that's
supplies.
okay, I
And
mean-
so we wanted to afford you
She hit that
some
table
privacy,
hard.
some confidentiality
Okay.
to talk about this because we thought it might be, something,
Bro, she
you're
got
married to
crazy
someone
eyes.
else, obviously, and so forth, and that you may not want to, talk about
Yikes.
these things in that setting where someone, we don't want the rumor mill or gossip or any of that kind of stuff
I
to
mean,
start.
that's fine. I mean,
So we did this just as a means to try and speak to you in just
Okay, I
a
mean, I
confidential
just-
place where where your business isn't out there for other people in
well, I mean,
your
it's-
division to
yeah,
know
I
about.
mean,
Whether it be shock or the total
She's
reluctance
breathing
to accept
heavy
the
as shit.
situation at hand, Stephanie warily accepts the reassuring response without further inquiry into her initial challenge. She instead falls back into her agenda of having a foggy memory with regard to the incriminating contents.
God, that's been a million years ago. I mean, what year is it now? 2009? I mean, I graduated in 82. 82, yeah. We dated. I dated other guys. I'm sure he dated other girls.
Well, let me ask you, roughly how long would you say you guys dated?
Oh, jeez. I couldn't even say. I mean,
Notice how she now goes on to over-explain things that don't require an explanation, and weren't even inquired about. It's a clear-cut indication of hyperarousal and a derivative of TMT, also known as terror management theory.
Teenage
The
Mutant
suspect will
Ninja
go off on
Turtles.
unrelated tangents as means for gaining momentary relief. Going into detail about trivial things affords her a brief escape from the terrifying reality eventuating before her. This is a very common occurrence in interrogations where the suspect is facing serious charges, and psychiatrists believe it to be a
I know,
subconscious
bro. I
coping
know. I'm just
mechanism.
playing.
I started school there in 78.
Mhm.
I started UCLA in 1978.
Mhm.
I graduated in 82. I don't even remember what year he graduated, if it was a year or two
Yo,
before me.
what up, Island Baby?
Okay.
I
Welcome
think
to
he
the
was a little
stream.
bit older than I was. I mean, I can't remember if he was born, let's see, I'm born in 1960. I don't know if he was
Bro,
born in
just
58 or
answer the
59.
question. How
I mean,
long were you like?
I mean, I knew his parents, I knew his sister, his brother went to Northridge. His sister had spent the night at my house before. Obviously, I spent the night at his house before. He probably spent the night at my house before. I don't.
Well, correct me if I'm
It's
wrong.
fine, don't worry
from-
about it.
From what you're telling
It's
me,
cool.
you guys dated while you were in college together, right?
Yeah, and probably after college. I
Oof.
can't. Jeez, trying to think when I met my husband. I met my husband in. When did I meet Scott? Let's see. I was teaching DARE because I met Scott when I was teaching DARE up in Oregon. But we had long stopped, dating before that.
So you haven't talked to him for a long time?
Oh, I think I haven't talked to him in a long time. I couldn't even tell you when the last time I talked to him. I met Scott, I'm thinking in 92 maybe, April of 92. It was,
Scott being your husband.
yeah, I'm trying to think.
There's
I was
points.
teaching DARE.
Yeah, Island Baby, if you do exclamation points, it shows you how much points you have. Yeah, there you go. Damn, Uncle Ian has more than you now? Yikes. Yikes. Could it be me? Yikes. It could never be me. Yikes. Yikes. Imagine, like, having less points than Uncle Ian. Yikes. I'm sorry. I'm just messing with you, bro. It's fine. And Liz? Oh, shit. My camera gonna die. Fuck. Give me a second. Give me a second, y'all. I'll be right back. Haha, I hopped in the second it started. Yeah, bro. Y'all are quick with it, I see today, huh? Jesus, man. It's fine, bro. Don't worry about it. Also, there are ways to earn points. Don't worry. Like, for example, we, oh, shit. Hold on. What up with it? What's up? $1? Good looks. Thank you for the donation, man.
Let's see, what year is this? We'll be married. I got married in 1996. I think I met Scott in 92. Prior to that, I couldn't tell you how long I had talked to John prior to that.
But since you met your husband, Scott, you hadn't talked to him?
I mean, he may have called me once or twice before we got married.
Right.
You know, geez, I moved to Simi in 1994 because I lost my house in the earthquake.
Oh, really?
Quite honestly, I probably keep in contact with a few people from the dorms. We all lived on the 10th floor.
She guilty?
And
you were able to read it off of her. She's so guilty, bro.
There's about 3 or 4 people I keep in contact with. There's probably like 6 or 8 of us that were all really close.
Mm-hmm. And
So
who
what
were those
happened?
people?
Basically, what happened was a body of a woman was found in a house, in the husband's house. So this woman married this guy, and as someone who used to lie a lot, she's definitely guilty. So this couple were married. The wife was found in the living room, I believe, killed and beaten, like beaten with like bloodied and like the face smashed in, all this like very dark shit. And it turns out that it was one of the cops who used to date the husband, and the husband cheated on her with his now wife. Well, his now dead wife. And 20-something years passed, and no one knew who it was. They thought it was 2 males. But it turned out to be one of the cops on the force, bruh. Gee-yai.
Oh, jeez. Diana Basta. People I still keep. I haven't been in contact with her in a long time. I mean, what's this all about? I mean,
bro,
let me ask you.
As someone with a stutter, bro, she was stuttering, my guy. As someone with a really bad stutter, I have a really bad stutter, bro. She was stuttering, bro. Yeah, bro. They erased all evidence. Are you asking me that, or are you saying that?
The suspect challenges the detectives for the second time, and once again the question is avoided, but this time in a more confrontational manner, as the topic is maintained with no reassurance afforded. The detectives are ramping up the pressure in a very subtle yet highly effective manner.
What ended the relationship between you and John?
You know, it was kind of a weird relationship. I mean, we dated. I can't say that he was my boyfriend. I don't know that he would consider me his girlfriend. We dated. We did things. I played sports in college. He played basketball.
She's saying that the cop
his brother played basketball. We just
Joe Biden moment.
Didn't work out. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. It was like I went out with other guys, saw other guys. I went on lots of vacations. You know.
Bro, she's explaining this shit too heavy.
Are you guys still friends, or kind of, problems?
I mean,
is it friendly, not friendly?
No, I don't think it was not friendly. I mean, we were friendly. I know that we went to Hawaii.
Bro, she looks terrified.
At one point. Yeah, I mean,
And you were saying that
It's 2009 now.
had you ever met his wife?
I may have.
Do you remember her name or anything, or? Or what she did for a living, or where she worked, or anything about her?
The suspect was just asked 3 consecutive questions relating to the victim. She was supposedly in a reflective state during all 3 of the questions, yet her facial expression completely changed for the 3rd one. This is because she was pretending to be in a state of reflection for the first 2 questions, as she already knew the answers, whereas for the 3rd question, she actually was in a state of reflection and was genuinely searching her memory for the correct response.
Had you ever met his wife?
I may have.
Do you remember her name or anything, or?
Let me see. Does it look fake?
The 3rd question is about to be posed, and her focus is about to switch from pretending to be thinking to actually thinking.
Yeah.
Or what she did for a living, or where she worked, or anything about her?
Yeah, this
Well,
looks...
I'm gonna
Holy
say I think she was a nurse.
shit. You can tell the difference,
say I
bro.
Or where she worked, or anything about her?
Well, I think I'm gonna say that I think she was a nurse.
You can see the difference in like her eyes and like her face.
Man, I can't even remember how he said he met her. Yeah, I mean, it's been so long ago.
Well, let me ask you, did you go to their wedding?
She just met her ex.
No, I didn't go to their wedding.
God, what she was.
No, did not go to their wedding.
People
I
are
can't tell you what year we got
crazy,
married.
man.
I mean, it's been a million years ago. Again, I mean, what? I don't understand why you're talking about some guy I dated a million years ago.
Well, do you know what happened to his wife?
Yeah, I know she got killed.
You wouldn't need to be an expert in body language to recognize the unmitigated terror emanating from the suspect's face at this moment. She had just verbalized the victim's tragic demise for the first time in most likely over 2 decades.
What did you hear about that?
I saw a poster at work. I'm sure I spoke to him about it. I think I spoke to another friend of his about it.
And how did you first learn about that?
Hey, she said that a little too fast. Quick.
Someone could have called me. I could have heard it at work. I think at one point there may have been a flyer or something. I know a good friend of his...
Were you on the job back then when that happened?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I'm sure I was on the job. That's why I would have heard about it with the flyer. He had a good friend, Mike Boldrick, you know.
It's
Being
over,
that
lock
you're
her up.
kinda
GG.
used to see John, was it everything okay between you guys? I mean, there was never anything uncomfortable or anything between you and her?
8 separate witnesses testified that Stephanie had confronted Sherry at the hospital she worked at, while the 2 of them were reportedly in an intimate relationship with John. The confrontation was said to have been highly aggressive, and Stephanie had to be escorted off the premises by security. Reports stated that Stephanie was by far the more combative, and even made threats against Sherry's life.
I don't know. I mean, it's been so many years. I mean, uncomfortable. I mean, I can't even remember if we had a conversation. I mean, I may have seen her at his apartment. Geez, how many years ago is that? I don't even know what year she, got killed.
Wow.
Where was his apartment?
Notice her passive disposition as she gives the following truthful response.
On Roscoe.
Okay.
Yeah, Roscoe and
Lock her ass up.
east or west of DeSoto. Either east or west of DeSoto.
Do you know where he moved after? Did he move after he got married, or do you know? Or
Now notice how her disposition switches from passive to frantic as she once again pretends to have a vague memory.
I'm sure he did.
did you know where he was living, or?
Somewhere in the valley?
Did you ever visit him and his wife?
No.
No? Never
No.
went out to, get together, dinners, anything of that nature?
No. Like I said, his sister used to come over. His sister had come to my place. I knew his brother because his brother played basketball at Northridge. In fact, I was just coming across some pictures that I just scanned from. I take a lot of photos, like 10,000, and I just did a service where I scanned everything.
Tangent about photos.
And, after his wife died, did you talk to him again or anything?
Yeah, I mean, I did talk to him.
She's
I talked to him, probably his parents.
she's panicking, bro.
Probably some other friends. You know, I'm sure I talked to him.
Yeah.
But you're not sure where he moved to after he got married?
No idea. I mean,
Never went over to visit him or
I don't think.
meet
I
his
mean, I
wife
don't
or-
think so. I mean, I don't know. I don't think I did. I mean, I know he lived on Roscoe for a long, long time.
After John's wife died, you said you may have been talking to him. Did your relationship start up again?
I would say no.
Deja W prediction. Island Baby just said in chat, she probably killed the wife to get back in the picture. And the cop asked her the exact same question. So you like started talking to him again after the wife died. Did like your relationship build back up? I was just gonna say, I mean, obviously it didn't work because it's been 20-something years and they're not together. So I don't think so. But hold on.
Again, can you give me a year? I
Witchcraft.
mean, this is like 2009.
She died in 1986.
Yeah, I think it was 86.
1986.
Okay. Like I said, I'm faintly remembering that I went to Hawaii with my friend Greg. Greg and I got certified for scuba diving. And
What?
I'm thinking that John met us there, meaning Greg and I.
Ain't no way she
After
tracked
he
where they lived
after
and
he
killed the
got
wife.
married or whatever,
And then
were
called
you
the
dating
husband
anybody
and family.
in particular? Like,
And that
there
was what?
someone
What
getting-
year? 1986, you said?
I think he got married
You got-
in around 85, 86, something like that. Were you seeing anyone seriously, or?
God, I couldn't say. Geez, I'm trying to think. I mean, you know, I dated a fireman.
Tangent about Mike the fireman.
Randy may have dated a gal that Mike was dating, and then Randy broke up with that gal. I couldn't even tell you the gal's name, if I'm even thinking of the story right. And then I started dating Randy.
Yeah.
So again, I mean, not like I was a huge floozy or anything, but
No.
As far as you recall, after John's wife died, did you start a relationship again with
She reminisced
John?
on
Dating
all her relationships,
casually
yeah.
or anything like that?
like I said, he met Greg and I in Hawaii.
Tangent about Hawaii.
You know,
Jeez,
what island did we go to?
she trying to shift this convo.
I think the Big Island in Kauai.
I mean, when you heard about John's wife being killed, I mean, what was your reaction? I mean, you thought you heard about it through a friend or
avoided the question,
in a
yeah.
bulletin or
Either
something?
a friend or a bulletin. I called the family. I called maybe some of his friends that I knew, and I mean, obviously it shocked you if I heard it at work, you know, which I may have. I faintly remember a bulletin going around, you know.
Do you know what the circumstances were regarding her death?
Geez, let me think back. Geez, I don't know if it was, a burglary or something. It's been so many years. I can faintly think that I may have saw a flyer.
Yeah.
May have had her picture on it. That's why I say, if somebody had called me, I may not have known what her last name was. Maybe if you told me, I would remember it.
In the past from like how
You know
long?
the first name?
But can't remember nothing about the wife. Kind
Shelley,
of crazy.
Sherry, I don't know, something maybe, like I said, it's been so many years, and
From all the years, as far as you can remember, do you remember ever talking to her? Just
well, I said earlier, I may have, and now I'm thinking I may have gone to her and say, hey, you know what, is he dating you? He's bothering me, and so I'm thinking that we had a conversation about that. One or two maybe. You know, it could have been 3. I don't want to say I had 3 conversations with her.
No.
Like
I
at
don't
like at her
know.
work or at their house or.
No, I'm thinking that you know, he obviously must have told me where she worked.
Stop the
I'm
cap.
thinking it was a hospital somewhere in LA, and I mean, I could have been, again, what year was that? Where was I working?
More random
92 or 93.
tangents.
There was the big earthquake. No, when was the big earthquake?
Tangent about
April of
natural
92. 'Cause
disasters.
I stopped teaching
My
there.
God.
I think I stopped teaching there sometime in 92.
When you said like, hey, you know, he's calling me, he needs to knock it off or what have you. I mean, was that civil? Was there? I mean,
Oh
did
yeah,
it?
no, there was not. I don't think there was anything. It was if the conversation lasted a few minutes. I can't even remember. And what is it like? You know, we went out to lunch or anything.
Right, but there was no like arguments or fights
I
or
don't
he
think
didn't
so.
get heated or anything like
Not
that.
that I recall. No, I mean,
Oh,
I would
here we
think that
go.
would stand out. I would think. Now again, that's not standing out in my mind. You know.
So you didn't have any problems with her then?
No.
You didn't have any issues with her?
No, I mean.
But let me ask you. Seems like you didn't have any issue. Now, did she have an issue with you as far as
Oh.
because now you're telling her, hey, you know, tell them to stop calling us. You know, she's like, you know, you figure she'd be threatened
Oh.
by you.
You know, I don't know. I mean.
From what you remember, as far as when you talked to her, maybe you didn't take it as
Rambling like
serious,
a
but maybe,
muff.
did she? Maybe she was bugged.
I mean,
by
like,
it?
was she throwing things at me or something, or?
Well, no, just
You know.
as far as you're trying to explain, like, hey, have them stop calling me.
Give me a second. My bad, y'all. My cousin opened my door and then left the door open. Anyways.
You know, stop playing games.
You know, I
and-
tell you, if the conversation, I couldn't even tell you how long the conversation. If you said, did it last a half an hour? Did it last 3 minutes?
I
Did it
don't know
last
how
10
then.
minutes? I can't even remember. It's been so long ago.
So you would have gone, if it was en route to work, you more than likely you would have gone to her work and had this discussion with her?
I mean, that's sounding familiar. I mean, that's, now that you guys are bringing this stuff up, I mean, that sounds familiar. But again, I mean, you know, what's this got to do with me dating him and, you know, her getting killed? I mean, I don't, you know, I don't have anything to do with it. And
You know?
You got something that's,
You know?
somebody said, you know, whatever. I mean,
Well,
She's
like
so
I said, we
defensive.
just literally got this the other day, and you're going through it,
yeah.
and you see
And you saw me say,
your
oh,
name.
it's next door.
Right, and so, you know, I mean, obviously it's like we recognize the name, and we know that, you know, you work
Yeah.
next door to us, and so we're trying to get some background, we're trying to figure this out. I mean, this is from a long time ago.
Oh, I know, and
you know,
that's what
and,
I
and,
said.
and things
Her
have
eyes
been
widening.
kind of slow for us, and so, you know, Chief Beck has said, hey, you know, I want you guys working, I don't want you just sitting around reading the paper.
Yeah.
So he's kind of pushing some older cases out even to the guys that
Yeah.
work active cases, because, you know, and so we see this and we're just like, oh,
Yeah.
well, you know, we want to talk to you about it, but of course, the only reason we did it here is because we're getting into some pretty personal stuff
No,
in
I
your
appreciate
relationship.
it. You know, my
And,
husband's on the job,
yeah,
and we've been
so
married
we don't, you know, we don't
a
want to take the
long
risk.
time,
We don't want to
and-
take the risk. We're in one of those interview
No,
rooms,
I
and even when the door
appreciate it.
closed, someone's going to get
No.
supplies and sees on a monitor or hears or whatever.
No,
and
I
we-
appreciate it. I mean, I
You know,
appreciate, like I said.
That's where people go when there's orals. You know, when they're doing orals,
Yeah.
guys will go in there and
Oh,
try and watch. And
I-
like, oh, what are the answers to the questions?
I
You know.
didn't know that.
Yeah, so we just want to afford
No,
you the
I
most
appreciate
privacy
it.
and confidentiality we could.
No, I appreciate it. And like I said, I mean, this goes way back, and I mean, it was very sad. You know,
They're
obviously,
smart for that.
I haven't.
They're moving
you know,
big brain. These
when we were in
these two
college,
cops are moving smart.
Some of us would go down to his house in San Diego. I went down to his house with him.
San Diego was nice.
I made detective, I think, in 93. 93.
Work history.
Let me get back to as far as when you said that John was calling you to see you, and during that time you felt that he was either seeing her, was he engaged or married? Did you know?
Couldn't say.
You don't remember?
You know, I don't know.
Uh-huh. Would he ever,
Well, let's see. My husband.
But
Was she bringing up
during
irrelevant
that time
things?
that you were seeing
Yeah.
John,
She's
you know,
like
was he
deflecting.
kind of squirrely or kind of sneaking around when he'd hook up with you or anything like that? To make
I
you
can't
think,
be a
hey,
cop.
this
Oh, he
guy-
probably was. I mean,
Yeah,
well,
because
after he hooked up with Sherry, do you know
she can't forget
where they were living?
everything. Yeah.
no, you asked me that already.
Uh-huh.
And I said, well, obviously they were living in Van Nuys division.
Yeah.
I may have known.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, did he ever give me the address? Maybe. I don't remember. I mean, I don't know.
Because the only reason I'm asking you again is because as we've been talking, I know some stuff has come to you because you're like, oh, it seems like you're So.
I don't think I've ever gone there. That's what I'm saying. I
don't know. What the hell?
I don't want to say no. I've never gone there, and then you say, "Oh,
hey,
I was
bro,
at a party."
I don't care about San
I
Diego
don't,
or earthquakes.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Like I said,
liar.
we've got these friends. We have parties.
Because I know you went to talk to her at the hospital regarding this issue with John. To kind of like, hey, what's going to happen here with this thing? But would this ever have followed up to her house when you went to talk to her to say, hey, you know what?
I don't even know that I knew where they lived. That's what I'm saying. I don't. If I knew where they lived and I'd been there, if it was for something social.
Her eyes are creeping me out, bro.
And I can't see how many times I saw her face to face. He lived on Roscoe. Did I ever see her there? I don't know. I mean, I may have seen her at his apartment on Roscoe.
Mm-hmm.
I may have met her there. I mean...
But you didn't have any issues with her, right?
No, I mean, obviously, if he was dating me and dating her, I probably said, hey, pick or something, back
That's
then.
I mean, would you remember if
Gotta get my charger, sorry.
snapped on you and just like, hey, man, it's my man, you leave him alone, blah, blah, blah.
He's my man.
Would you remember an incident like that? I mean, because that would be like, what?
Well, and maybe that happened. I mean, gosh,
Stop
it's
the
been
cap.
so
I
long
don't know
ago.
where they live.
I just,
Cap.
I mean, that's not ringing a bell.
Mm-hmm. Because the times I've seen you around at our office,
I'm crazy.
but you're always kind of like real.
We know.
I mean, you seem kind of bubbly.
Oh, people think I'm really hyper, but I can get upset, and then I forget 5 seconds later, how guys razz you and you go,
Confession? She can't forget everything.
I mean, I've done that
she's
in the
a terrible
office,
liar.
but
yeah.
it's like, and then I'm, I mean, people
Water
think,
under the bridge.
yeah, I mean, it's like people think I'm crazy, and then they think I'm crazy at home, and
I wonder why.
I'm a hyper person at work.
Fuck.
I enjoy my job. I get excited. I enjoy the job. I've always enjoyed the job.
Okay.
And then the guys that lived across from me, Jim Jaskell and Roy Suckaboo, something like that.
Who?
Well, one of the concerns I
She
had.
remember
was
everything
looking
else
at some of
except
the
anything
notes
permitting
is,
to them. Like, huh?
Some of Sherry's friends said that
She
you
guilty
and
as
her were
hell.
having a problem because of the John situation.
Well, number one, I don't know who her friends are, because again, I don't recall if he did tell me where he met her. I don't know even who these friends are. A problem. Like I said, if I spoke to her, I mean, I'll go on as far as a limb, and I don't even want to say I spoke to her 5 times because that's probably not even true. I can't even remember. Again, did I meet him at her place when he lived on Roscoe for I think quite a while, but I couldn't tell you how long he lived in
mentioned
Roscoe.
everything else
And the only
but
reason
them.
I remember the place now is because it's like a huge dope place now, where they, it may have been back then, but maybe we didn't know back then. I could have met her there. I could have,
But they're,
I don't even know that I met any of
property.
their friends. I don't.
She's a
I
cop.
can't say that. I don't know that that's a true statement.
Like, she's a detective.
That's
She
what I'm
should
reading
be
is
a
that
little better at
you guys
this,
have
right?
Problems with each other, and words are being exchanged, and it's all related.
I guess that's
to
why she's not
John.
undercover, I guess.
You know what?
You went all this time and
I just
learn how to
I can't
lie.
say.
Like,
You can't say.
No, that doesn't even ring a bell. I mean,
it seemed like you would recall something if
I
somebody's
would.
going off on you, right?
I would think. I mean, I would think.
From what you're telling me is when you guys met at the hospital. You guys talked, but it wasn't, from what you recall, confrontational from either side.
she's
I
garbage.
mean, I'm trying to,
Got water?
turn my memory back, and I'm trying. I can't even picture the, picture the conversation. I mean, I can't even picture the conversation.
Well, let me ask you. At the hospital, it never got to the point where people were going, hey, everybody go to your own corner type of thing?
I don't think so.
Nothing like that?
I don't think so. I mean, I really don't. I mean, if you say people said that, that's not ringing a bell to me at all. I mean, it's not. I mean, that's not ringing
I'll
a bell.
straight up ask, why are you talking about other things that I asked? No, so stop getting off topic. I don't care about the weather.
Relax, or anything like that?
I don't fuck about the weather, Susan.
I think so.
About ever going to a house and having,
Hold on.
John had to maybe go like, hey, you guys relax, or anything like that?
I think so.
About, ever going to a house and having a dispute like that?
You can see the difference, bro.
If I met her ever at his apartment,
they're not officially interrogating
maybe.
her, though.
I mean,
Yeah,
maybe
they're not. They're
I
not.
could have met at her apartment. I'm thinking that the hospital thing, that sounds familiar, that I met her there.
That's why I think they're letting so much shit slide.
I just can't say that I've ever...
They have a hidden
Again,
camera. Yeah.
was I there with other people? I don't know. I don't think I ever met her there or him there.
Just
Meaning
in
one
case
or
they
the
get
other.
a confession.
I don't think so.
Well, I guess basically what I'm asking is, were you ever welcome to the house? Like, hey...
Oh, come over?
Yeah, come on over. We're having a barbecue, a dinner party, Christmas party.
That
whatever.
face.
I don't know.
No.
I'm just trying to think. Like
She
I said,
creeps
because
me
there were
out,
so many of
bro.
us that I have 10,000 pictures. Okay,
I don't know.
Picture nut.
Mm-hmm.
Come on,
Let me ask, when you were seeing John, would you... I take it he would pick you up in his car, you'd go in her, your car, things of that nature, when you guys would go out?
Well, yeah, I mean...
Do you remember what he drove?
Well, I know at one time he drove either a 240 or 260Z.
She remember that.
Out of your mind?
She remember the car name. Right? The car name. What's up, stupid?
I don't know how long he drove that 240 or 260Z for. And the only reason I say that is because I think I may have a picture of it with him in it.
What kind of car did you have back
with
then?
The face, yeah.
Let's see. What year?
Or are you like one of those young cops that's like, oh, I got a paycheck and bought a new car?
Oh, no. I've only had like a few cars in my whole life.
So what'd you have when you came on the job?
Okay, well, my first car was a 68 Chevelle.
Well, like I said, as we were looking at the case, and, we had read the notes as far as from Sherry's friend saying you guys had problems or words, and they got heated. And the reason we're asking you is they had mentioned that an incident at her work had occurred, and they've also told us that an incident at her house occurred.
You know what?
And this is at her house during the period of time that they're married.
That's just not sounding familiar at all.
She's so garbage at lying.
You know what? That's just not sound. Again, if someone says that I was at her house and I had an incident with her, that just doesn't sound. Was John there? Did John say this happened? And other people were there. I don't recall.
Come on, Shadi.
I mean, it just doesn't sound, familiar.
Come on, Shadi.
This is an incident where you showed up. You weren't supposed to show up, and things got heated.
At his house?
Yes.
That just doesn't sound familiar. I mean,
Nothing.
no. It's not sounding familiar.
So
Not at all.
now you're saying not familiar because it's just something you remember, or it's just...
you know what? I'd have to say I don't remember, because I don't remember. That doesn't sound familiar.
I mean, would you remember something like that in your life?
Well, I would think, but...
Some sort of drama involving,
The greatest murderers we will never
Did you
know
ever
about because they
fight
never
with her?
get caught. Yeah.
You mean like we fought?
Yeah. Did you ever duke it out with her?
No, I don't think so. I mean...
You'd remember that, right? That would be pretty...
Yeah, I would think so. I
Pretty
mean,
specific,
yeah, like I said, I mean,
traumatic.
obviously...
But she remembers the car name,
It
exactly.
just doesn't sound familiar. I mean, what are they saying? So I fought with her. So now I'm getting the jump, the leap. Excuse me, I haven't eaten. They're saying, okay, I fought with her, so I must have killed her.
This is known in psychology as reductio ad absurdum, or appeal to extremes. It's a form of argument that attempts to disprove a statement by showing that it leads to an absurd or impractical conclusion.
I mean, come on. I mean, that's, you know, I don't even know who these people are. I can't even say I met any of these people. I mean, it's insane.
She's not a car girl because she literally said herself she's only ever had like 2 cars and she was never the type of cop to get a paycheck and then buy a car from it. She remembered the weather, the whole Hawaii trip, her friend's cousin's dog's name that died 20 years ago, okay? But nothing pertaining to the husband and wife. Of course, you know.
Something you would remember, I mean, because it's, I don't know if
Earthquakes.
any other intense incidents in your life that have occurred, I mean, you'd recall those, right? I mean,
well,
like a use of force at
she's
work,
so dog water, bro.
car crash, something you're involved in, you'd be like, yeah, I remember.
you would think I
Yeah,
would
remember her trip to
remember.
Hawaii,
I mean,
San
I would
Diego,
think
an
if
earthquake
it
in
was
their past
something that crazy.
relationships, yeah.
I mean, I can't say. You say, how many fights have you gotten into, you know, in your life? You know, I mean, a few at work.
Well, fights at work are kind
you
of
know,
different because we've all had uses of force or whatever. But
Well,
I
I
mean,
didn't even have even a lot of those. I mean,
right. But
you know,
if you're actually, you know,
I mean, I played.
like if Dan and I got mad at each other and we threw blows in the squad room, I mean, 20 years later, I would remember it. I mean,
I would think
be
I would
pretty,
remember it, but
pretty neat.
that's what I'm saying. That's not sounding familiar to me at all.
I'm looking at the notes, and people are kind
Who
of.
knew this guy? Who knew this guy? Who
They're
knew
pointing
this
the
guy?
finger at you.
Who went through
Well,
an earthquake in
I mean,
Hawaii?
That's not ringing a bell to me. So, you know, I don't know. You know, it's. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, that just sounds crazy
into
to me.
40
Yeah,
streets.
so you, offhand, you don't recall ever going into the house and
Oh
having
shit!
words and
She on.
physically, you know,
No.
She
I
on
mean,
Bryce Hall
her
time.
from
Like
attacking
I don't
you.
care what y'all say in high
No.
school.
nothing like that.
No. I mean, that's no.
What y'all did in high school?
Nothing.
No. No. Not at all.
Okay. Well, on some of the, on this case, you know, it occurred in '86, right? Detectives processed the scene, things of that nature. They did fingerprints and all that stuff. You know, you know the standard
Mhm.
stuff.
I just
You
wanted to
didn't
say I
think of
love
this
you
one
guys.
as I
No
had.
homo.
Well, I don't know about that.
Love you too, bro.
I got 26 years on. Going on 26.
19, so. But, you know, as they processed everything, they did the best they could at that time, and they looked at a lot of people. And different
Bryce Hall
things
can
in
remember
this
40
case.
Street fight. She lying on
And
God.
You're
I
right.
mean, if you guys are claiming that I'm a suspect, then, you know, I got a problem with, you know, with that.
She lying on
Okay.
God.
So, you know, if you're doing this as an interrogation, you're saying, hey, I'm a suspect. Well, now I got a problem with, you know, now you're accusing me of this. Is that what you're saying?
We're trying to figure out what happened, Stephanie.
Well, I'm just saying. You know,
Look at the
do
panic
I
in
need
her.
to get a lawyer if you're accusing me of
I mean,
this? You know.
You don't have to. I mean, you know,
I'm
you're
just-
here of your own free will. I mean,
No,
you don't,
I know, but
I mean, you know,
mean,
you're not under arrest. You can walk out.
you
Whenever
can leave
feel
whenever
like.
you like.
well,
But-
you know, I'm trying to give you some background of, you know, how I knew him, and now you're telling me that somebody's saying that we had this big old fight, and I don't even know what you're talking about, you know, and I don't want to, you know, get in trouble for something that I didn't even do, or you're saying I did something.
She remembers her extracurricular
I understand.
activities. And why can't she remember the
I mean,
wife
how would
and
you guys
husband?
like it if the
It's,
tables were turned
double
on
crazy.
you?
I understand. No.
Yeah.
No, that's what we're telling you. I mean, you're free to go whenever you want. If this makes you uncomfortable and you want to,
Well, now you're starting to
Go
make me
Chinese.
uncomfortable.
Oh, Chinese food will bust right now, bro. Chinese food will bust so hard right now,
The
bro.
thing is, I mean, detectives did what they could at that time on the crime scene. Okay, and the
Left,
burglary thing we're
fuck wrong
talking
with her.
about, that is an angle that they looked
Hungry as fuck, no
at.
cap.
But now we're looking at everything else on the case. Because nobody was ever arrested on the case.
I don't know that or not.
Okay. Now, what
I
we'd like
think
to do
leaving
is,
makes you look suspect, though, doesn't
obviously,
it?
you know about all the DNA stuff and things of the nature that, you know, gets done on cases nowadays. You know, if we asked you for a DNA swab, would you be willing to give us one?
Maybe. Because now,
Because
now
now,
I'm thinking I probably need to talk to a lawyer.
Chinese food.
I mean,
Yeah. Chinese food
Well,
sound good.
because I know how this stuff works.
She
Okay, don't
panicked,
get me
bro.
wrong. You're right. I have been
Would've
doing
said,
this a long time,
Yeah.
and I
"Yes."
wish I had been recording this because
see
now
in
it
a
sounds
while.
like, you know, there's, you know,
I
you're telling these
guess.
people saying I'm fighting with her, and now it sounds like you're trying to, you know, I've been doing this a long time.
yeah.
We know.
Okay, And now it almost sounds like you're trying to pin something on me.
No,
now
but-
I got that sense.
Well, what it gets to on these cases, and you know it as well as I do.
She's
our job is
defensive.
to identify and eliminate
I
suspects.
can't believe this.
So if we ask you to the point to give us a DNA sample, a buccal swab, so we can identify or eliminate you, would you be willing to do that?
Maybe.
Why is...
Because I know this.
Well, that's where we're at to. I mean, because right now, from looking at the evidence, it's it's possible we may have some DNA at the location,
That's great.
and we're going to do what we can to try to put this thing together. And your name's in the book. These people are pointing at you for whatever reason.
I don't know why.
And-
That's just crazy. I mean, that's absolutely crazy.
And it would be irresponsible on our part not to look at it.
I know. You guys have to do your job,
And-
and I guess I'm gonna have to contact somebody. So,
That's fair.
I mean, because I know how this stuff works. I
Sure.
mean, I just can't believe it.
That's.
I
I mean,
guess-
we understand that. I mean, if we were in your position, I mean, we would feel the same way.
I just can't even believe it. I mean, it's just. I mean, I'm shocked. I'm really shocked that somebody would be saying that I did this. I mean, we had a fight, and so I went and killed her. I mean, come on.
Well,
That's.
okay.
All right.
Well, thanks for giving me the courtesy. I wish I pre-recorded that.
Thanks for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, Stephanie, take care.
All right.
Yikes. 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 Are they arguing?
This is absolutely crazy.
Have a seat, Stephanie.
This is insane.
Okay. Give me 1 second.
Bro, what the hell, bruh?
Stephanie, you know you have the right to remain silent. Do you understand?
Yes,
Anything you say may be used against you in court. Do you understand?
yes.
You have the right to the presence of an attorney before and during any
Oh,
questioning.
shit. What a build-up. We're here.
You want to be appointed for you for
Woo!
your charge before any questioning if you want. Do you understand? Do you want to talk to us right now?
No,
Oh, shit.
All right.
Okay.
this
then.
is crazy. This is absolutely.
Oh,
I'm like in shock. I'm totally in shock.
they arrested her. They put her in
We are
handcuffs.
Back on the record in People versus
Oh, shit.
Lazarus. Shortly before noon, the jury announced they have a verdict. We will take the verdict at this time.
People of the State of California versus Stephanie Eileen Lazarus. Case number BA 357423. We, the jury, in the above entitled action, find the defendant, Stephanie Eileen Lazarus, guilty of the crime of murder of Sherry Rasmussen in violation of Penal Code Section 187A, a felony, as charged in count 1 of the information.
Pack
We
them
further find
up.
the murder was of the first degree.
Your Honor, I'm John Rutten.
Damn.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak during this hearing.
W.
There are really no words that can describe the loss of Sherry and the whole of this experience, so it makes no sense to talk very long. It suffices to say that the Rasmussen family, my family, and Stephanie's family have been thrust into a bizarre world of disbelief and indescribable sadness. Sherry Rasmussen had a profound impact on so many people.
Damn, bruh. Damn, bruh.
I was
His-
proud that she agreed to be my wife.
You a
It was
cheater, though,
impossible
but
not to
damn.
notice Sherry when she entered a room. To me, her
Those
physical
earthquakes
presence
will
was
up her
startling.
now.
I can clearly remember the first moment I laid eyes on her.
Oh,
Sherry
shit.
Rasmussen was a physical presence, and my heart still races when I look at pictures of her. But Sherry was extraordinary, more for who she was than the way she looked. She was a hard worker, a consummate professional.
Hey, bruh. But these little niggas loud as hell. Give me a second, bruh. Bro, are y'all serious? Are y'all serious? Thank you, children. Jesus Christ. These little niggas so loud. Anyways, fucking kill my vibe, bro. San Diego won't help her, nor Hawaii. She about to scuba dive to pick up the soap. Relax, bro.
A leader, a diplomat, forgiving, tough, and a kid at heart. Cherry's loss, the way she died, and the trial 25 years after her death has had a profound impact on many, many others. The effects are broad and span a generation, creating pain for those whose lives should have never been touched by this tragic event.
Damn, bro.
Again, words are feeble tools for describing these impacts, but there are so many moments and so very many tears. And the fact that Sherry's death occurred because she met and married me brings me to my knees.
Stephanie Lazarus was sentenced to 27 years to life.
Y'all see her eyes, dog? Look at her face. Shawty giving off, yeah, and I murdered that bitch, so what? Vibes, bruh. What the
for the murder of Sherry Rasmussen. She is currently being held inside the maximum security unit of the Central California Women's Facility.
Yo, lock her up and throw the key away, bruh. 20-something years she was free?
That stand out in your mind?
Ew! Ooh. She looked like she want to murder him too? Yeah. Look at her. Look at her.
Cards that stand out in your mind?
Oh, she's creepy. She's creepy. She's creepy. Ah, bro. Okay, fuck you.
Fuck this.
Hey, W edit. W edit, bro. W edit, bro. W edit, bro. W edit. Oh, fuck this.
Fuck this.
Hey, W editing, bro. Shout out to Criminal Psychology. Banger of a video, bro. Banger of a video, bro. Holy shit, this was so good. This was so good. Yeah, bro, lock her up and throw the whole prison away with her in it, bro. Throw it away, bro. Drown it, bro. Oh my god, 20-something years free. 20-something years free, bro. That's insane. Hell no, bruh. Hell no, bruh. This shit is crazy, bro. Man, the length people will go for like love and for people that cheated on you, bro. Wasn't even her fault. He cheated on her, but she got killed. No, he yeah. He cheated on her, but she I sound like her. Wait, she was caught 27 years later? Yeah, bro. It was like 20-something years later, bro. My God. Anyways, let me stop the recording.